to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control, and when you say Miami, you're talking to my balls. We're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the post-game wrap-up show here at DolphinsTalk.com. And for the second time this year, we can talk about a Miami Dolphins victory as they blew out, dominated, absolutely annihilated the Atlanta Falcons. What was it, 34-10 at the end? 34-10. 34-10, and it wasn't even that close. Tom, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mike. It was a great Sunday, 50 degrees and sunny, and I watched a Dolphins team that looked completely different from any other week that we've seen this year. It was fun to watch. Let's put it that way. It was very fun to watch. You know, Tua wearing a visor, has something with his eye, and it looked like Tua from 2023 with a bad eye. It was incredible to see.
Yeah, I think they surprised a lot of people today with this performance. I mean, it was from start to finish. They had control of the game. So we got a lot to talk about on today's show. But before we do, as always, shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Caneswear. Everyone go to caneswear.com for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. If you need a hat, hoodie, shirt, jersey, something for the car, something for the home with the Miami Dolphins logo on it, caneswear.com is the place to go. If you're in South Florida, stop by their shop. We did a couple weeks ago. It's awesome. At 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. Christmas and the holidays will be here before you know it. Caneswear.com is the spot to get stuff for not just the Dolphins, for the Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Heat, the Marlins, and all the South Florida teams. Dolphins Talk Extra. We had a lot of fun Friday night on the Patreon service with our happy hour show where you, the listeners, can jump on shows like this with us. Go to patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. We have happy hour shows. We have extra podcasts. We have a private message board and a ton of fun stuff there. Shout out to everyone watching and listening at the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And if you're watching on YouTube live with us right now, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and super chats are open. If you leave us a super chat at some point in the show, we will share it on the screen and read it and get your comment up there. Okay, before we get to the game, let's go through some of the news in the lead up to the game and some stuff that happened with injuries in the game. Prior to the game, they went back to Zach Wilson being the number 2 quarterback. Why? I have no earthly idea, but Zach Wilson was the number 2 quarterback this week. Quinn Ewers went back to being inactive as a number 3. Matthew Judon, who was a healthy scratch last week, was active, which feeds into that rumor the man Tua was talking about when he said, guys showing to play for me. He's not sure. Was Matthew Judon, because the following week he was a healthy scratch. Now he's active. That might have been a 1-week punishment. Don't know, but this kind of feeds into that.
Sure does.
D. Eskridge leaves the game with a shoulder injury. Ashton Davis leaves the game with a quad injury. Minka Fitzpatrick hurt his thumb at the end of the game. Storm Duck finally gets back. He's on the field. He's playing a little bit, and he has a knee injury, and they actually had to take him from the sideline to the back on a cart. So there's that. No, I mean, and with the game on Thursday, Minka will probably be able to play. I think they'll probably just, unless his thumb is really bad. I would say the rest probably you're not going to see on Thursday.
He's the type of guy that'll just tape it up and play.
Yeah. It was reported prior to the game. So Mike McDaniel all week is like, I'm open to ideas of change. We got to change stuff. Well, here's 2 of the changes they made. Frank Smith moved from sitting up top to the sideline this week. So Frank Smith, who's technically the offensive coordinator, even though he doesn't call plays, was on the sideline. And, crack your jokes here. They told Tua to don't think so much, just play. Well, maybe it worked. I don't know. And they also told him to play more up-tempo. Tua, which everyone knows if you watch the game, swollen eye, some sort of illness. They had to put it on the injury report this morning. He wore a visor. Didn't seem to affect him. I don't know. Maybe he's sick. Maybe, who knows? Whatever. It is what it is. All right. Before we get to game thoughts, I want to just put out this disclaimer first. Because with this win, look, we're 1-6. This season ain't going nowhere. With this win, there are a lot of Dolphins fans who are really happy. The team won. That's all you care about. That's great. We all understand you. There's also a lot of fans who are frustrated, like they just hurt their draft stock, especially since the Jets just won. And it's like, what are we doing? The season's over anyways. I understand you as well. We all do. Everyone is entitled to feel however they want to feel. Just like Tom's entitled to feel the way he wants to feel, and I'm entitled to feel the way I want to feel. If you only want to hear about, well, the Dolphins won, don't even dare say anything negative today, well, we're probably not the show for you. Because if you want analysis and thought, and if you're a human being, you can hold multiple thoughts in your head at once, then this is probably the show where you're going to like the next hour. Because we're going to talk about this from every angle. We're not going to be like, well, they won, it's over, it was great, that's it. No. There's tentacles that come off this. There's fallout. What does this mean? What does that mean? What does this mean? And we're going to talk about it with analysis. So just understand it. Because I know a lot of fans like, why are you even talking about that? They won. Well, it'd be a 10-second show. They won, bye. That's not what we do here. Okay. So even in a win, we're going to talk about multiple things. So with that said, Tom, start with your thoughts on today's game.
I'm shocked. Like very shocked. I went into this game believing, what we watched in Cleveland last week, what we watched the week before, the meltdown against the Chargers late. I figured we were seeing that Miami Dolphins team on the road against a decent Falcons team. Now, put in perspective, no starting quarterback, top 10 wide receiver. Drake London is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. He was out. They ruled him out pregame. But kudos to Mike McDaniel. Kudos to Anthony Weaver. It felt like they had a fire under their ass in this game because the defense came out and played. And Mike McDaniel, this is the best called game he's had all season. And it was for a multitude of reasons. Number one, he was running the football effectively. And the Falcons are no slouch on defense. Number two, if the words were Tua, just go out there and play and stop thinking, that worked. Tua was very efficient in this football game. Jalen Waddle had a phenomenal football game. It was a game that morally they needed that in the locker room. They needed that win. Now you're going on a short week. You're playing the Baltimore Ravens at home on Thursday Night Football, who just won today against Chicago at home with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Most likely we'll have Lamar Jackson on Thursday. So it's an intriguing game, right? Both teams coming in with 2 wins. One team getting back their starting quarterback, and the other team coming off a dominant win against the number 1 pass defense in football in Atlanta. So kudos to the Miami Dolphins for winning. For the big picture aspect of it, it doesn't hurt too bad that they won the game. So if you're looking at it from a draft perspective, Miami went from number 2 to number 5. New Orleans and Tennessee are both playing right now. And because of the tiebreaker scenario, even though Cleveland beat Miami, the strength of schedule gives it to Cleveland for the time being. So Miami still has all the chance in the world if they want to go that direction, which I know a lot of us feel that should be the way they go. But you can't tell that to the players. Players aren't going to dial it in. Like we talked about on the show Wednesday and last week in the postgame show, there's a lot of guys here playing for contracts. They're not going to just dial it in. These guys are going to play hard because they're playing for some big paychecks. So I'd expect the Dolphins to win some more games this year. How many? That's debatable. But this was a performance today going in at 7.5-point underdogs, Mike. Waking up Sunday morning, this was a dominant performance, and it was good to see the Dolphins really put a game together from start to finish. This was a complete football game.
Yep. And it leads into this. And each week when I have my post-game thoughts, I always start with the good and then I go to the bad. This is going to be a short one. The good, everything. The bad, nothing. That's literally it for this game. It was dominant on both sides of the ball. Now, there's still a lot to unpack, even with that said. They played their most complete game all year. And if you're one of those fans, though, saying, why can't they play like this every week? Stop. Don't do that. If we played Kirk Cousins every week, we'd be 17-0, folks. The main reason, let's just call it what it is. The main reason Miami won today and looks so good is because Kirk Cousins is not a viable NFL quarterback anymore. The reason we shut down Robinson is we didn't have to worry about the Atlanta passing game this week. We would just load up the box and just focus in on Robinson. So, if you think this is going to lead to a turnaround and we're going to make a run, just remember our 2 wins on the year are versus Justin Fields and the Jets, who gave us 100 yards of penalties, and an Atlanta team with Kirk Cousins and no Drake London. You got to keep things in perspective. Don't buy into false hope. Don't start thinking, oh, we're only so many games back of the wild card. Here it comes. I don't see that happening. Kirk Cousins was so bad today. He reminded me of Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. I mean, he was atrocious. Atlanta gift wrapped this win to Miami today. Now, I don't know how bad Michael Penix and Drake London were hurt, and again, I don't know. But if Atlanta was like, it's just Miami, rest them, let's be overly cautious. We can win this game without them. Boy, did they screw up that thought process if they thought that. Did they screw it up?
Because they don't have a first-round pick.
There's that. Yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with the pick. It's just if they were just being overly cautious, saying Miami can't stop anybody, we'll be fine. It's like Kirk Cousins just looked. He was inept. I mean, he was inept. He couldn't even move the ball. And on the Miami side, yes, we give them credit for what they did on offense, playing the 6 offensive linemen, sticking to the running game, and all that good stuff. The frustrating part for someone like me, at least, and I'm sure others, why did it take to year 4 for Mike McDaniel to realize this? We haven't had a good offensive line the entire time he's been here. It's like, and I've been calling for this for years. It's like, just play an extra offensive lineman, especially when we had Hill and Waddle on the field at the same time. You don't need as many wide receivers. Just go with the extra offensive lineman. Let's get him some more time. No, they wait till they're 1-6 in year 4 when he's still going to be fired to go with the 6 offensive linemen, and they ran the ball well, which does a few things. One, it gets other guys involved, right? It gets other guys involved, like Ollie Gordon was a much larger factor today. Jalen Wright saw some work. It gets those guys on the field and involved. And plus, let's call it what it is. But you got a quarterback who's coming off back-to-back 3 interception games. You don't want him to throw it as often. So you protect your quarterback who's a little bit turnover prone. So, great strategy on one end, because 2 things can be true at the same time. Great strategy on that end. But the frustrating part is what took you so goddamn long? Because you're probably still going to, you will be fired here, whether in a week, 2 weeks, a month, or at week 18 once the season ends. It's like you should have done this years ago, and that's the frustrating part. But overall, I mean, it's a solid win in every way possible. Kirk Cousins couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. And I think that helps. And then for Miami on offense, they just ran the ball, controlled the time. We'll get to team stats. It's freaking embarrassing. Atlanta, up until the end of the game when it was already over, they had 11 first downs for the day, 2 of 11 on third down. They only ran 49 plays. They only had 213 yards. Kirk Cousins was atrocious. And that is a factor in this game. Yes, happy Miami won, but you have to factor in why they won. Now, look, if they get Tyrod Taylor on Thursday, they're probably going to win again. It's going to be another game like this where they're going to just focus in on Henry and say, okay, Tyrod, you beat us. If we're playing Lamar, it might be a different story then. But overall, it's a good win. I think it's frustrating for a lot of fans because a lot of this stuff, we as fans have been saying for years, let alone all this year. And he finally did it, McDaniel. And it's probably one of those things where it's too little too late. But I'm not going to sit here and focus on where we're picking in the draft each and every week yet. But, you have to take it, into account here that where it is. But it's still October. I'm not going to worry about that yet. And we still have to play the Jets and Saints. So plenty of time to lose to them and pass them in those standings. And yes, someone, I don't know who it was, so I have to go back and watch the tape. The guy who on Wednesday night who picked Miami to win, the only guy on our live Wednesday night show picked Miami to win. I said, I'll get you a hat or something. We'll find out. I'll have to find you because I don't know if he was on YouTube or Twitter. If you're that guy, send me a message. If not, we'll try to track you down and we'll get you some because you were the only one who had Miami. I'm sorry, not Tyler Huntley, whatever. 6-1, half dozen the other, all the same. All right. Now, before we get into this game, did you see the NFL Network report today from Mr. Tom Pelissero, which to me is more upsetting than the game. He said that the Miami Dolphins have told other NFL teams no fire sale is happening, but they may be open to trading Matthew Judon. So, if you're thinking Chubb's getting moved or Jalen, now look, this could be a game of possum. Who the hell knows? Right. But if they happen to beat the Ravens next week, I'm telling you, it ain't a game of possum. Then they're going to think they got a chance to make the playoffs. I think right now they're only 2.5 out of the wild card, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, if you're hoping for a whole bunch of trades and stuff, it ain't coming. And don't be mad at Greer. Don't be mad at McDaniel over stuff like this. Because they're just working their jobs and they still have jobs. Be mad about the people who they report to because they should know better.
Yeah. I still think it's a little bit of possum, Mike, because they got to play that game Thursday night. I think the outcome of that game will really dictate where they want to go as a franchise for the rest of the season. So again, if they get obliterated by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on Thursday Night Football, yeah, you're going to be moving some players. If they find a way to win that game Thursday night at home, then I agree with you. I think their thought process changes a little bit, but 10 days later, they got to welcome in Josh Allen and the Bills, who have absolutely owned the Dolphins since 2017. There's a lot that has to go right. And what has to go right is really everything. The Dolphins have to go into the bye week. What? 4 and
it ain't happening. Let's not even go down this road. It's not.
Just based on the conversation that we're having here regarding is there going to be a fire sale or not? Everything hinges on Thursday. But for the rest of it, it depends on where they are at the bye week, right? You're going to be past the trade deadline, and then that's where we're talking about everything else. But what happens Thursday will dictate a lot of things in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, we've sat here for weeks and said, how can Ross continue to watch this? How come they don't do anything? And there comes a point where you just kind of have to take him at their word. Like, they're really going to give him time to see if he can turn this around, McDaniel. And they might feel, hey, we ain't out of it yet, and we're going to try and win.
This is the type of win that gets Stephen Ross very happy.
He probably gave him a game ball today after the game like he did after the San Francisco game last year, which made don't laugh. I know
it's what he did.
They don't think like us. And by us, I mean most fans. Not like, me and you. I mean, they don't think like us. So at some point, you might have to just take them at their word that they're not going to trade any of these guys and they think they got a chance to win. I wouldn't, because I'm guessing in their minds, they're like, well, we should have beat New England week 2. We should have beat the Chargers. We should have beat the Panthers. There's 3. We got 2. We could just be 5 and whatever right now. I don't know why you guys are all nervous. And that is the mindset. Like, when you're that deep inside the bubble, and there are some fans that deep inside the bubble, and if you own the team and you run the team, you're that deep inside the bubble too, where you are jaded to a lot of the outside noise and almost reality. They're thinking we should have 5 wins right now if things went our way. At worst 4. And they think people like us who watch a lot of games and see we can't compete with these other teams unless they hand us 100 yards in penalties or have Justin Fields or have Kirk Cousins. We can't compete with these. They think we're the crazy ones. So don't laugh. They might think, you know what, we're holding on to everybody and we're going to win. And if we don't, we'll get a compensatory pick at, in 2027 for Jalen Phillips. Who cares? Why are you so nervous? It's a different world they live in. We'll see what happens here in a few weeks, but it is crazy. The Jets we'd either have the first pick of the draft right now or be tied, and we actually find a way to win. It is same old Dolphins. That's so Dolphins. This is literally it right here today. This is literally it.
Yeah. But again, this is the type of team that we expected in regards of they're falling apart, they're trending towards getting a high pick, and this is the same type of crap that happened in 2019 with Brian Flores. Is this team was completely unraveled, trending to get the top pick in the draft. And then all of a sudden they started ripping off meaningless wins late in the season. Now, it's not late in the season, but you're at the halfway point. So it depends on how you feel about it, right? So I'm happy as a fan the Miami Dolphins won, but in the back of my mind's like, we have to get Chris Greer out of here. And the only way this happens is if it just completely continues to implode. So, you can look at it from both perspectives, and that's what we do, and that's what I do. I look at it both ways. As a Dolphins fan, phenomenal win. Love seeing them go out there and actually dominate from start to finish. On the other side of it, shit. We go from number 2 to number 5 in the draft order as of right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So you want to run through some of this game here?
Yeah. Both teams exchanged 3 and outs. Dolphins got a touchdown drive, was aided by a pass interference penalty, and it was finished after a 4th and 1 conversion by your man, Ollie Gordon. Tua Tagovailoa found Devon Achane for a 3-yard touchdown, and Dolphins went up 7-0. The Falcons answered with the field goal. Parker Romo was able to hit from 45 yards out. After more exchanges of punts, Dolphins get a field goal. And then after forcing another 3 and out on Atlanta, they get a 10-play, 82-yard drive. Started with a Nick Westbrook-Ikhine reception, Mike. He finally made an appearance. A 15-yard face mask penalty really aided the Dolphins here as we winded down the first half, and it ended with a touchdown pass from Tua Tagovailoa to Malik Washington. And the Dolphins are up 17-3 at the half, Mike. What were your thoughts overall in the first half and how dominant the Dolphins defense played?
Yeah, I kind of said it earlier, but it's, super easy when you have a quarterback who can't throw the ball and you can just focus in on stopping that. And that's kind of what they had there. So Robinson, who's, having almost an MVP type season, it was kind of nice to just be able to focus on him because Kirk Cousins could not throw the ball to save his life.
No. The third quarter opened up, couple punts, both 3 and outs from both Atlanta and Miami. And then the Falcons got moving after a defensive pass interference that was called on Rasul Douglas. And a 17-yard reception pass to Bijan Robinson got it to the Dolphins' 19-yard line. On the very next play, Bijan Robinson fumbles. Tyrell Dodson stripped it. Tyrell Dodson recovered it. And the Dolphins were back in business, Mike. A very nice defensive play from Tyrell Dodson, who's been kind of, in and out this year in regards of play. Yeah, today he had a good game.
Yeah, because he's had some injuries and stuff as well. So a nice game today from Tyrell Dodson. Solid game for Dodson. And I thought, look, everyone played well today. There's not much more to say because literally everyone played well today.
Yeah. After the fumble, the touchdown drive from the Miami Dolphins was 10 plays, 84 yards. It took 6 minutes off the clock. And the great Kevin Harlan, who was calling this football game for the Miami Dolphins, he had his moment because Tua found Jalen Waddle on a 43-yard touchdown, a nice pass about 10 yards down the field, and Jalen Waddle just absolutely torched the Atlanta defense. And Kevin Harlan went nuts. Music to my ears, Mike. It was great to see that, but also Jalen Waddle with a great game today.
Yes, Waddle was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to have to leave you for a second. Someone's at my front door, so I will be right back. Give me less than 2 minutes, Tommy, okay? Just you vamp.
Me vamp? All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna vamp, baby. Hey, everybody. We've got a little bit of a delay, so we're just going to keep talking about this football game. Dolphins turn it over. The Falcons turn it over on downs. The Dolphins get a very good stop on 4th and 4 from the Atlanta 41. Rasul Douglas in coverage was able to force the incompletion, and then they got another touchdown drive That's right, the Tom Ernest Show. You guys tune in, subscribe. Tua found Ollie Gordon on a nice screen pass for 20 yards and a touchdown. Once Mike comes back, I'll have him throw the T-shirt up. But it was good to see Ollie Gordon really get involved in this football game. Actually, all three running backs were involved in this game. Obviously, Devon Achane got a lot of touches. We did see a lot more of Ollie Gordon as well as Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright finally got some touches in this football game after really being inactive for most of the season, starting with the injury at the beginning of the year and then being healthy scratches going forward. But the last 2 weeks, we saw him active. Today, he was actually active. He was on the football field. The Dolphins forced another turnover on downs as Kirk Cousins threw short left to Kyle Pitts, only a 2-yard completion. Ife Melifanu with the stop there. Good to see him get involved in on the action. And then the Falcons, after the Dolphins field goal, the Falcons did get a late touchdown that pulled it to 34-10. Dolphins ran some clock out after a near onside recovery by the Atlanta Falcons. And the Dolphins ended up winning the football game 34-10. Again, dominant performance from the Dolphins. I love seeing everyone in the chat. Thank you guys. I can hold my own. I've been doing this for 10 years, but we'll get Mike's thoughts on the rest of the performance in the second half when he gets back on camera. Tua Tagovailoa. So let's talk about the quarterback play while Mike is away. Tua was 20 of 26 for 205 yards, 7.9 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns. He was sacked once, had a 138.6 quarterback rating. Obviously, the best game to date for Tua in this offense. He was very efficient, and obviously the visor part of it is very unique. Never really seen Tua wear a visor before. I think he needs to wear it going forward. Maybe it's a good luck charm, as he had a very good football game, a complete opposite from what he had with Cleveland last week when he threw 3 interceptions and only 100 yards, doubled his yardage total, and threw 4 touchdown passes. It doesn't get any better than that. There he is. Mr. Dolphins Talk himself is back. Mike, I just rambled for a solid 3 minutes.
I heard you because I had my headphones on the whole time. Damn Jehovah's Witnesses. I couldn't get rid of them. Couldn't get rid of them. I'm joking. Okay. So, yeah. The shirts, Ollie Gordon shirts, Ollie Mania. Go to our website, DolphinsTalk.com. Click on the Dolphins Dive. We got them in there. Here's the deal. That store is going to be changing soon. It might be leaving. So if anyone knows how to work a Shopify account and wants to partner up with us or maybe join our team, reach out to me. I'm looking for some help there. But yeah, second half of the game was just they were dominant. I mean, again, there's only so much to say when every aspect of the game, they were fantastic. I did also see today, too, that Miami gave more reps to Benito Jones than Grant. Grant was not on the field as much. Am I going to read into that? No, because, again, once we saw Kirk Cousins couldn't play, stopping the run became very easy. So let's see if they do that, though, on Thursday, especially if Lamar plays.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into the team stats. Like you said, Mike, total domination from the beginning. You said the Falcons had 11 first downs. They did. 24 for the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins 6 of 13 on third down. Atlanta 2 for 11. Fourth down efficiency, Miami 1 for 2. Atlanta 2 for 4. 65 total plays for Miami for 338 yards on 10 total drives, average 5.2 yards per play. Not bad. The Atlanta Falcons only 49 plays of offense for 213 yards on 11 total drives, 4.3 yards per play. Went through the quarterback stat for Tua, but for Kirk Cousins, 21 of 31 for 173 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns. Not a great showing. This, for me, outside of the time of possessions, which we'll talk about here in a second, rushing attempts. Miami ran the ball 37 times for 141 yards at 3.8 yards per carry. 3.8 yards per carry is average at best, but guess what the number really means? They continued to run the ball. They didn't get away from it, And this is the type of game the Dolphins need to try to play for the remainder of the season. If you get a team against the ropes, you got to lean into that ground game. You have explosive backs, and we saw that today with Ollie Gordon, obviously with Devon Achane. But the other telltale sign, the Dolphins, the worst rush defense in the NFL by a mile, only gave up a total of 45 total yards on the ground. Red zone attempts 3 for 5 for the Dolphins, 1 for 2 for Atlanta. Penalties 4 for 54 on the Dolphins, 8 for 76 for Atlanta. They did have the fumble, which is the only turnover of the game, and time of possession. Miami, 37 minutes and 58 seconds. Atlanta, 22:02. You want to stop one of the best running backs in the NFL? Time of possession is the key part of that.
Yeah. It's stuff we've been saying for years. First off, this offensive line can't pass block, but it can run block. That's not just this year. That's going back the past few years. Run the ball more. Make it easier for them. Also, when your quarterback has a long history of injuries and stuff like that, this year, not so much with the injuries, just turn it over. Well, how do you get the ball out of his hands? To protect him. You run the ball more. Now, also, this year, not so much the past few, terrible on defense. How do you protect them? Run the ball more. Like, it's sad it took to October 26th for our head coach to figure this out when it seems pretty obvious to most laymen like us. But this is the recipe. And, if he wants to keep his job, which is probably almost impossible at this point, do this every week.
Not rocket science, but clearly to the guy that went to Yale, it's rocket science. Let's give out some game balls, Mike. Who do you got for yours?
I mean, we got a lot of options here today, including the punter even. But I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle. 5 for 99 and a touchdown, 19.8 yards per reception. Was a non-factor last week. Had a quarterback say he couldn't see him, and he plays with one eye today, and he gets him the ball for 99 yards. Funny how that works, but I'm going with Mr. Waddle himself.
I'll go with the quarterback, Mike. 4 touchdown passes. And the big reason is it's a 180 from what we saw in Cleveland last week, right? Atlanta came in the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. To have that type of performance deserves kudos to a fantastic football game. And if we have to really go on the defensive side of the ball, because there were a lot of great players in this game for the Dolphins, Jordan Brooks was an absolute menace on the football field today. 10 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hit, and a sack.
Yeah, I mean,
great game by Jordan Brooks.
I mean, this was the game from heaven. This was the game from heaven for Mike McDaniel and that entire staff. We'll see if they can carry it over on Thursday and all that good stuff. Who knows? But this was the game for them, and that everything went right. Everything went right, and they got some help from Atlanta by having a few of their guys out. So you got to factor that in, but literally everything went right. So it'll be a happy, short plane ride home from Miami to Miami Gardens.
We know that flight.
Atlanta to Miami Gardens. Yes, we know that flight very, very well. Only like an hour and a half, or maybe 2.5 or so, roughly. But yeah, so they're going to have, and now it's a short week. We'll see what happens on Thursday. Now, here's what's going on Thursday. Obviously, after the game, Tom and myself, post-game wrap-up show. We're going to try to cram as many shows as we can in between now and then. And Thursday night on Patreon at Dolphins Talk Extra, Josh said he's going to do watch along. He goes, I don't care if anyone else joins me. I'm just going to pop on and do watch along. I said, well, I'll pop on with you. I don't know if I'm going to stay the whole night, but I'll stay for most of it. So if you go to patreon.com/DolphinsTalk, sign up for $3 a month. Thursday night, we're going to have a watch along. And if you haven't been to one of our watch alongs before, boy, you're missing out. We have a lot of fun. We crack jokes. It's sort of us watching the game in real time. We don't second guess. We first guess. I hear us curse or swear in real time. And we put our hair down, so to speak.
You watch us be fans.
Yes, you watch us be fans in real time. everyone thinks, oh, Mike, you must be a lunatic, sitting there watching the game, yelling for me. No, I'm the exact opposite. I watch the game like I'm in a library. I'm very quiet, and I write down my thoughts for this show. And on the live watch-alongs, I'm the same way. Now, some of the people you think might be quiet aren't, and I'm not going to name names. That's why it's kind of fun to watch the watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun. So if you're bored on Thursday night, you don't want to hear Al Michaels and Herb Street with his damn dog, tune it, go to patreon.com/Dolphins. Craig Carton did make a good point this week talking about Herb Street. Nobody cares about your dog, buddy. It's like, enough with the dog. No one cares about the dog. We understand. You like half the country has a dog. Enough with the dog. You know what? Craigie's right. Enough with the dog, Kirk. Everyone loves your dog. You got a golden retriever. Yep, you damn do. Everyone has a golden retriever, it seems like, in this country. Enough with the dog. So there's that. So check that out there. Man, this is a short show. You know why? There ain't nothing to talk about. This game was so lopsided, so one-sided. There's not much to talk about. But, it's a win, and it puts them at 2-6 on the year. Like we said, picking fifth. They're tied with the Giants, but they're above the Giants. Saints and Titans are playing now. The Jets, that Nick Mangold story had me so sad this morning. That's a young man, only 41 years old. Say what you want about him. Him and Zach Thomas had some battles. Oh, my God. Did they have battles over the years? And just seemed like a really nice guy. I know he was the one of the players who was pounding the table for Zach to get in the Hall of Fame, saying, no, he's too good. He's got to get in. And it sounded like he had a kidney issue of some sort. So I don't know all the details, but sad. And then, and then on that day, the Jets, because of Mason Taylor, with a game-winning touchdown at the end of the game, less than 2 minutes to go, get their first win. So it just seems kind of fitting that on the day where they lose Nick Mangold, that they get their first win. Now every team has a victory in the NFL.
The Detroit Lions are safe.
Yeah. And I think Cleveland went 0-16 once too, didn't they?
Yes.
Like right around that time? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And also Tampa Bay, like back like in 1979 or 80, went like 0-14 as well. Let's go to the chat here. We already answered this. Where was this side of our team? If we play Kirk Cousins every week, you'll see this every week. Take that into account. Someone asking about Jonas Avionette. Yeah. I mean, he couldn't play any worse. So I'll say he played better.
It was definitely a better game.
I'm not going to go nuts. I'm not going to
go
nuts.
No, we can't go nuts, but we do have to give props where props are due. Atlanta's got a really good defense, and they were moving them around today. They actually played with some fire. Jonah had some nice kick-out blocks. He had a very good football game. And like Frank Smith, I think it was Frank Smith this week that was asked about Jonas Donovan. They said, progressing, right? We see a little bit here, a little bit there in every single week, and we're continuing to see improvement. Today is 100% his best game to date. It was a fantastic game from Jonas Donovan. So you can't hate on the kid as long as he continues to develop to where they drafted him, and he can become that guy that we saw in college. That's a different story. But right now, he's still a rookie. He's still learning. But I give him props. He had a very good game.
Yep. And like we said, too, if you're looking for the Ollie Gordon shirts, the Ollie Mania, we got black and yellow. We got red and yellow. I'm putting the link up in the chat. And click on that. Get your Ollie Gordon shirts, your Ollie Mania shirts. And again, anyone knows anything about Shopify, reach out to me if you want to team up and work with us there. Hold on, let me get this off the screen. Let me see if we got. Oh, hold on. Let's see if we got anything else in the comments here worth mentioning. I know Winnie always screws up the draft pick. No one's tanking it. Yeah, we know no one's tanking. Best game of the year. Yes, it was. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So Dolphins win, go to 2-6. Thursday will be here before we know it. Be a short week. We'll see what the Ravens do. Both, here's the deal with the Ravens, especially with Cincinnati losing today. The Ravens, with their crappy record, still have a chance to win the North and get a home playoff game because that division is brutally bad. Who knows what Pittsburgh will do when they play the Packers this week. So if they get back Lamar, which they're dying to get him back, they're going to come out guns blazing because they still have a chance to get a home playoff game and win the North because the AFC North is pretty bad. Miami, on the other hand, is just, they just got their staff just trying not to get fired at this point. It's a little different motivation, but that's what makes it interesting on Thursday night football. All right, that's all for today's show. Everyone, have a great evening. We'll talk to you again later this week. Follow Tom on social media at DolphinsTalk Tom. Follow myself at DolphinsTalk. Check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. Everyone, have a great Sunday night. We'll talk to you again after a while. Don't forget, we still must put an end to highway profanity, especially this week with Halloween. You got the little kids on the road. You still must put an end to highway profanity.
Fins up.